Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I want to share with you that I received a lovely thank you note. And I don't know about you, but to receive a handwritten thank you note is quite rare these days, and it is very special to me. It starts at the bottom here and it works its way up and all the way around and down. And it was written on the Wall Street Journal of the weekend newspaper, which is a part of the culinary section, the food section. So not only did I get a lovely note, but I also got a couple of lovely recipes that I want to share with you. Tonight, we're going to make a lovely fish dish that I found in this newspaper. We'll tweak it just a little bit, but it sounds delicious and I think we should make it. So let me just put this aside and get started with our fish. What's really nice about cooking a dish like this is that, fish is almost like a blank canvas. Whatever you want to serve with the fish, you can go in so many different directions. Tonight, it's going to be very much Mediterranean inspired, very clean, lovely flavors, and very simple. And we'll talk about how we're going to cook it once we get all the ingredients together. What's really also lovely about this dish is it's baked, every bit of it. So there's no cooking on the stove. Once you assemble it, it goes straight into the oven. We actually made something similar to this at the restaurant, and it was always a pleasure to receive. So here we go. This is fennel, and I just want to show you, I used a half of a small fennel. It'll be enough ingredients for 4 servings. And I just also want to show you this little inexpensive mandolin. What's fun about this is that you can really shave the fennel nice and thin. And in this case, you do want it nice and thin. You can also use a chef knife too, but be sure to slice it very thinly. This just does the job really quick. So a half a fennel, and it's all here in this bowl. It's very nicely, thinly sliced. So let's put some in. I'm only making 2 servings tonight for Bob and I, so I'm just going to use about half of it. And fennel, it has like an anisette flavor when you eat it raw, but when you cook it, it takes on an entirely different flavor. It's sweet and delicious. They're both excellent, but they're both very, very different. Okay, you can even take some of the fennel frond and just pull off some of the fennel frond to go into the dish. You don't have to measure this. And we're also going to use some tomatoes. These are cherry tomatoes. So this size, I actually quartered them because I thought they were too large to just cut them in half. So you want to use a container for 4 people. You'd want to use an entire container of cherry tomatoes. So that's going in. And olives, you can use Kalamata olives. Here I'm using green olives, and you need 1 cup, and I slice these in half. So these are going in. And 2 tablespoons of capers. These, just rinse them if you'd like, just to get the briny flavor off a little bit, and just sprinkle those in. And here I'm going to add, it's not in the recipe that was in the newspaper, but I love shallots. So once again, I used the mandolin, and I took 1 small shallot and I sliced it very, very thinly. So we're going to put that in. I think it's going to add some lovely flavor. Okay, so 1 small one should be enough. And I have some lemon zest. I was lucky enough to also receive with my lovely thank you note, lemons and limes from their trees, which they grow their own, which is really wonderful. So I zested a lemon, and that's what I have here. I'm going to put that into the mix. And I'll see if I need any extra fennel. We shall see. I also have here some lemon juice and white wine, which we will add later. You do want to season all of this. The olives have a little bit of salt, and so do the capers, but we'll just put about a half a teaspoon. The fennel and the tomatoes obviously need a little bit of salt, and some black pepper, and a good olive oil. Here, this olive oil is from Spain, and I'm going to basically, the recipe doesn't even have you do this. They just have you put it in each portion of the fish, but we're going to mix this all together. I think it's a better way to go. And I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. And I think I'm going to put into 1 tablespoon per person. Okay, 2 tablespoons. Then we can just mix this all together, and this is our wonderful mixture that we're going to put on top of our fish. It's, I would say, any type of white fish. Here, this is grouper. Grouper is very local down here in South Carolina. You can use cod, you can use halibut, you could use flounder. You could use mahi-mahi. This is grouper, and I would say 5 to 6 ounces per person is more than enough, but that's entirely up to you. But you want to cut each individual portion. So you want to season with some Thyme kosher salt. And if you notice, I season it high, so make sure that you get all of the fish. And a little bit of black pepper. And I'll just turn it over, and I will do the other side. And then we will talk about how we are going to bake this. Okay, our fish is ready. This clear paper that you see here is called Fata Paper. And this Fata Paper comes from Italy. And I do believe you can still order this online. However, we did this at the restaurant. This is how we would serve fish, and it was lovely. And if you want to do something a little extra special, then you can go ahead and seek this out, because it's really fantastic paper to use. So we're going to use it tonight, but you could use parchment paper, even Reynolds foil. You can get sheets of foil and you can use that as well, and just make packets out of it. So you can use parchment paper, foil, or we're going to use the Fata paper here right now. I have 2 sheets. I cut this about 18 inches. So anywhere from 16 to 18 inches is enough. Let's do the first one. I have extra virgin olive oil here in the can. So what I want to do is just spray the center of it a little bit. I don't want the fish to stick, so it's going to go right on the oil that's in the center of the Fata paper. So just take a piece of fish, set it down, and then put a really nice amount of all of this wonderful mixture, and put it right on top of your fish. And all of this is going to cook in the oven. I'm trying to get as much as I can. So you want to cover all of the fish with the mixture. And then we're going to use a tablespoon, and let's take a tablespoon of our white wine. It's a dry white wine you want to use, and just pour it over the top. maybe about a tablespoon and a half. And also some lemon juice. Let's go with about a tablespoon of lemon juice over the top. And that should be enough. I have my oven at 425 degrees and I put a tray into the oven, and I will set these packages right on the tray in the oven. But you want your tray to be hot before you get started. So it's in the oven already. You can top it with just a little bit of unsalted butter, but I happen to have some white truffle butter from D'Artagnan, and I think this is a perfect place to use it. I'm going to put a piece of truffle butter right on the top of the vegetables here. You could also make yourself an herb butter with some fresh herbs, a little bit of lemon zest, salt and pepper in your butter, and that would be wonderful, or just some straight up butter. So top it with a little bit of butter. I would say that's about a half a tablespoon there. And then if you have some fresh herbs, it's always wonderful to put a few sprigs of herbs right on the top, so when you open up the package, this is what you smell. So I'm just going to put the thyme right on top. All right, now it's ready to be tied up. There we go. So this is just a little bit of butcher twine, and you just want to tie this up. Now keep in mind, don't tie it in a knot. Tie it in a bow so that when it's complete, we'll be able to take the butcher twine off, okay? So here's one. I can show it to you up close. That's my oven telling me that it's ready. So here it is, ready to go in. I'm going to get this all set and ready to go, and then I'll show you how we plate this when it's done. Okay, these are going in the oven. I'll set the timer for 12 minutes and I'll show you how I check for the doneness. So this recipe, the recipe in the Wall Street Journal came from Odette Williams. And she decided to serve it with a nice potato dish, which is, it's called potatoes Anna. And it's a little more complex than what I did here. All I did was just roast some baby bliss potatoes. You can see there, they're all nicely roasted. I just took them out of the oven, and I just roasted them with olive oil and a little bit of fresh thyme. If you like rosemary, you could use rosemary too. But this looks like a lovely recipe as well. This is about ready to come out of the oven. So let me just put the potatoes aside. And I think I'm gonna pull it out and take a look. This was our 12 minutes. Let me just show you how I would check for doneness on this. I have a metal skewer here. And you could either, let's shut that off. You can use a paring knife and maybe just try to pull a piece of the fish apart. But for me, and I'm going to just remove the string. That's why a bow is much better than a knot. And I'm just going to open this up a little bit. And I'm going to put the metal skewer right through the center of the fish. Hold it there for about 5 seconds. And then pull it out and just touch the skewer to your lip. And if it's nice and warm, which this is, then it's probably cooked. If it's hot, then you might have gone a little too far, but if you like your fish really well done, you'll be very happy with that. So I would say this is definitely done. Yep, definitely. So I cut a piece of ribbon and just tie the packet. If you're entertaining and you want to have this all done ahead of time and serve it this way, it's a pretty presentation. So instead of the butcher twine. open the top almost like a flower and put it right in the center of the bowl and present it this way. So I'll come around to show you real quick. And then at the table, I'll show you what our servers used to do. Have them be able to enjoy all of the aroma and the flavors that is coming through. And then you can take a spoon and you just want to slide it right off the paper. It has some lovely broth. I'll remove the thyme and I would just place some of these beautiful looking potatoes right around the dish. And then I can call Bob in and tell him dinner is ready. This broth is delicious. Well, it's white wine and lemon juice. How can you go wrong? Okay, here, look how quick this came together. And there's very, very little prep to do. So here is a wonderful Mediterranean dish, beautiful flavors. All the flavors come together. The fish will be very moist, not dry, perfectly cooked. A wonderful way to actually cook fish. And as I said, this Fata paper, it's called professional cooking foil, and you can definitely find this on the web. But if not, just a piece of parchment or a piece of foil, and just make a nice little packet, easy to go, and it'll be exactly as delicious as this is. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks for my thank you note. I'm very, very appreciative. Be well. See you next time.